In his first reaction since 27 lawmakers loyal to him were restrained by the court from parading themselves as members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, has urged Rivers people to forgive him for the mistake he made. Wike spoke during an exclusive interview with Arise News at an event in Ogbulu, local government area of Rivers State. He said the mistakes would be corrected at the appropriate time. The minister says he is human and is bound to make mistakes. He, however, assures the assembly members that nobody will remove them as members of the Rivers State House of Assembly.
I respect people who appreciate what God has done for them, who appreciate what God has used people to do for them. God does not come down. God uses people to help people. So when you have been helped, you appreciate them, and then God will know that you have also appreciated him. I have never told anybody to worship me. Nobody can worship man. All of us believe that we only have one God, and it's only that God we worship, and we will continue to worship that God. But as politicians, we appreciate people who have helped, is it not? Ogu people, Ogubolo people, when I came to ask you to support me, you supported me. Is it not correct? Did I worship you? Did I worship you? But I have to appreciate you. Is that not correct? I want to say this clearly. Well, in life, when you have made a mistake, you say I've made a mistake. There's nothing you can do about it. I have made a mistake. I own it up, and I say, God forgive me. And I'll say, all of you forgive me. But we'll correct it at the appropriate time. I'm a human being. I'm bound to make a mistake. My judgment can be wrong. So forgive me for making a wrong judgment. That's life. So nobody should kill himself. Let me say this clearly. Arnold, don't be frightened that anybody will remove you as an assembly member. Nobody will remove you as an assembly member.
That's the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike there. And the chairman of the Rivers State chapter of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Chijioke Ihunwo, is calling on President Bola Tinubu and the international community to intervene in the political crisis rocking Rivers State. In an interview with Arise News, Ihunwo described as unconstitutional the alleged tenure extension plan of the local government chairman in Rivers State. The leader of the simplified movement of Obiakpo local government area also refused to recognize the Martin Amewule's faction of the Rivers State House of Assembly, following their defection from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress in December last year.
By the grace of God, we now have a new speaker in the State Assembly, Right Honorable Vito Kujumbo. I know people have aligned ourselves to that leadership. Now, the former members of the Rivers State Assembly, led by Martin Samewule, has been frustrating the efforts of the state government. As I speak with you, if we must get things right in our state, then we must come back to say, look, there shall be peace. Wike should hands off anything concerning Rivers State. He has served as a governor. Local government, their tenure will elapse on the 18th of June. Like we said before, they must vacate their office. You cannot, in disguise, you took an oath of office for 3 years, and you're making a law. We have not finished what you want to stay for extra 6 months. For God's sake, Mr. President should call Wike to order. Wike is giving us a headache. I want to also call on Mr. President and the security agencies to call the local government chairman, who has about 40 days to remain in office, to order. They must vacate their office on the 18th of. It's constitutional. And nobody should come to threaten our governor. We are here to protect the governor of Rivers State. So we are pleading to Nigerians, international community, to call Wike to order. Enough of these things he's doing. He's not the only man who has governed Rivers State before I left. I've also offered myself, if he has forgotten anything in government house, he should tell me as his brother will go and bring it for him. So I'll have peace in Rivers State.
Okay, we have in the studio Dan Nwanyanwu, who is the national chairman, Zenith Labour Party. And from Rivers State, we have Marvin Yobana, who is the leader, Simplified Movement in Ogoni. Gentlemen, very warm welcome to Newsnight. Maybe I should ask from the man on the ground there in Port Harcourt, Marvin, how would you describe Wike's assertion today that he's made a mistake and nobody can remove the 27 lawmakers, that they are going nowhere?
Well, we are in a country of laws, and the Constitution is the ground norm in which, as a country, we abide to the laws and the rules as stated in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the law has spoken. And it has said that they should not parade themselves as lawmakers any longer because they've defected to a different party from the party in which they sought election into the House of Assembly. And the law is very clear. So if anybody attends a function somewhere and make any statement, that statement to me cannot override the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It doesn't matter what office you hold or what power you think you wield, but the law is the law and we should respect the laws. This is a country of laws. And these former lawmakers had run foul of the law by defecting. And the law courts have pronounced that they should not parade themselves. There are subsisting cases in courts, so they should go do the right thing, go back to court to try and see how they can get back their seats if they can. Otherwise, INEC should do the needful, conduct elections into the 27 seats that are vacant, so that people can contest and come back to the Rivers State House of Assembly, and we can have representatives at that level. I don't listen to side talks or as we call it in the local parlance, beer parlor discussion, where somebody said, don't worry, nobody can take your seat. The law is the law, and we should respect the law. We are law-abiding citizens of this country.
Thanks very much, Marvin. Let's turn to Dan Nwanyanwu, who is with me here in the studios. Dan, you are the chairman. You've been chairman of two parties, national parties, Labour Party and today Zenith Labour Party. What would you say is the problem about party leadership, succession in Nigerian politics? Godfatherism, a lure for money, and not leadership development?
Thank you for having me, Christian. I think the issue has to do with impunity and disrespect to the rule of law. Marvin got it succinctly. You see, the problem, I would like to lay the foundation of the problem in Rivers before we get to the meat of the subject. Section 109 of the Constitution, subsection 1G, made it clear on how a member of a state assembly would vacate his office. And in that G, it talked about leaving the political party that took you to office and joining another political party. But he gave a proviso, unless when there is a division in the political party. You know today there is no division in the PDP. And Supreme Court explained what division meant at the national level. Now, if that position is clear, I agree with His Excellency Wike. Nobody will remove you from the State Assembly. But you have removed yourself. You have on your own volition, elected to leave the State Assembly. That is the law. And I want to say, without missing word, that nothing will bring them back to the seat unless another election is conducted and they become victorious in the next election. As of today, any lover of democracy, any lover of laws, would know that the Constitution has written it clearly. There is no argument that if on your own, suo moto, you decided to exit, you elected to leave, you have resigned, you have joined another party, from your own word of mouth, there is no provision that you want to come back. There is no provision that I have changed. There is no provision that I have repented. The next thing to do is to have another election where you may be sponsored by the political party to contest election.
Very well said there, Dan. But would you say that the Independent National Electoral Commission is averse to this provision of Section 109? If not, why are they standing hands akimbo?
I'm aware there are a plethora of cases whereby, I think I was briefed yesterday, whereby INEC has been told not to do it. They were joined. You see, they are just postponing the day. It has come that they are no longer legally recognized members of the State Assembly, no matter what anybody tells them. I'm talking law. I'm not talking according to Marvin's beer parlor discussion. I am talking law. I'm a lawyer. And every lawyer, most lawyers are unanimous on this matter. When a law is clear and unambiguous, you don't need to give it any strange interpretation. The 27 members in the House of Assembly in Rivers State are no longer legitimate members. I don't want to talk about amending local government laws, removing powers of the executive governor and all that. Those things are bunkum. They have fallen on nothing. The issue is they're no longer there. And it will help the democracy in Rivers and in the country if they remove all those laws, all those court cases, so that the election will be conducted. There is no option available now than to conduct election. Christian, similar thing happened, but not in the case of the decampment. During the second tenure of Governor Wike, when President Muhammad Buhari wanted him out of office through hook and crook means, what did we do as political parties? Even IPAC, we stood our grounds that the governor should be allowed to perform, that the governor should be allowed to do his work. And it was those interventions from different political parties, civil society groups, some lawyers, that made the Attorney General then to soft pedal. They had already concluded how to see him out, how to show him the way. But now history has a way of repeating itself. You are now the one facing the incumbent governor, duly elected, even if you appointed him governor. He is now covered by the statutory provision of the law.
That was voted for.
Voted for.
Okay.
So I say, even if, without conceding, that you appointed him so on your own, you must be allowed him to do his work. You must not chase him around and distract and derail him. Let him do the work. Wait for that time.
Yes.
If you want to fight again, you will continue to fight. But as of today, those 27 members are never members of the State Assembly in Rivers State. Okay,
let's go back to Port Harcourt now. And Marvin, to a lot of socio-political watchers of Rivers politics, the question they are asking is that, is Rivers State again on the road to perdition? What happens? I mean, if one of the plethora of cases, overturns, the contentious issues of the assembly members being sacked automatically by provisions of the Constitution. What happens?
Well, thank you for asking these questions. These questions are very vital, and for those who are democratic scholars, I think Rivers State will make a very good case study for them when they are writing whatever the history about democracy in Nigeria. Even the Supreme Court, I am not a lawyer, but I'm aware that even our sister state here, Cross River, had a similar issue where lawmakers defected. And the Supreme Court was very clear in interpreting that section of the law and made it very clear to show that they were no longer members of the State Assembly. And this law is not ambiguous, like the learned brother sitting there just deposited. So what in Rivers State, why is Rivers State case different? Why is INEC keeping mute to all these things that is going on? INEC is joined in a suit, yes, they are joined in a suit or whatever. Can the right thing be done? The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, being the father of the nation, intervened in this political crisis twice and tried to fashion out a political solution. And any political solution that is not known to law cannot stand. You cannot put anything on nothing. But even at that, because of the respect the governor of Rivers State has for the office of Mr. President and for his age as a father and an elder, the governor assented to that political agreement and started implementing it. He even instructed the then speaker to resign from the Rivers State House of Assembly just to create way for peace to reign. But yet, what do you have? Every day, this association of friends, who former lawmakers, come together and they'll be coming up one bill, the other bill, trying to whittle down the powers of the governor, even taking over the responsibility of executive function in Rivers State. And this is what we find, trying to make the state ungovernable. But that has not whittled down the power of the governor. That has not distracted the governor. The governor is being focused on the assignment he got elected into office for, which is the act of governance. The governor is busy. Next week, he will start the one-year anniversary. He's going to commission more than 10 major projects. He's going to flag off more than another 10 major projects again. He is doing his job. He's not worried about what is going on. And I want to commend those 3 legislators in the State House of Assembly. Yeah,
Marvin, sorry to come in here. And he's now turned the government house, the executive arm of government, to the legislative arena for the other 4 members. How constitutional is that?
Well, it's constitutional. He didn't turn the State Assembly to the executive arm of government. He never did that. Remember, some hoodlums burnt the chambers of the River State House of Assembly, and that matter is still under investigation. So, and the structure was very weakened, and the governor demolished that structure and started rebuilding the structure. Now, there have been issues. Then the governor did an executive order, which was gazetted, and gave them the auditorium in the government house for them to carry out their legislative duties. He never interrupted their he did that long time ago when that incident happened. And it was the same lawmakers that wrote to the governor. Even the former governor, they've been writing and saying that the quarters in which they stay, they have a problem of waterlog. That water comes out from the ground, the roof is leaking, the sewage is not working, things like that. That the former contractor did a very shabby job. They've been complaining. So the governor, as part of his duties, went he went with the director of works to go and look at those complaints. And immediately they said, oh, the governor wants to come and invade and threaten them and all that. You see, everything in the state is turned to politics. Any move the governor does is interpreted into a political move. So I think that it is, that's why I said I commend those lawmakers, the 3 of them, that took the bull by the horn and said, enough of this gangsterism, enough of this unruly behavior by the legislative arm of government, enough of those persons who are claiming to be lawmakers, who are not lawmakers, and they're going to take back their rightful position. And I commend them so much. Because, you see, we must stand up to defend democracy. Even Mr. President, during the time of the military, he was part of those who came out to defend democracy. He fought for democracy during the Nadeko days. So he cannot fold his arm and watch people, lawless lawmakers, who come there to cause anarchy in a state like Rivers State. Rivers State is the hub of economic activity and oil production in Nigeria. So anything that affects the state will definitely affect the country.
Okay.
So it is very important,
Marvin.
For us.
I think you just started answering my question, but I'm going to direct it to Dan Nwanyanwu. Can the situation degenerate into anarchy, affecting the economic nerve center of the country, of course, which is oil? How can this be, averted, Dan?
Yes, I think it can. It could happen. But let me make it very clear that what is happening in Rivers is an embarrassment, great embarrassment to the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Tinubu, embarrassment to the government, embarrassment to the country, and to the international community. We cannot continue to go and behave as we're a country without laws. You might see that it's Rivers. The time has come now for the president to call those concerned to order to leave the Rivers State governor and the government to breathe. Let them do the work they were elected. We don't care who appointed him governor, since it is no more by election. We don't care who spent his money to make him governor. But the fact is that he is today the de facto and de jure governor of Rivers State. They should allow Fubara to breathe. The way we fought when Buhari didn't want Wike at that time, as I said before, we are going to fight more now to ensure that they will not use rivers to truncate this democracy. When we fought for this democracy, the labor union, I was in the trade union then, civil society group, Femi Falana and Co. and others, these people, these gladiators, were nowhere to be found. They were not there. But because in our characteristic manner, then, we didn't believe that we should go into power politics. And that is why we got all sorts of people in government. People speak today that because they are God, they can decide, they can do what will happen. Nobody is God. Power comes from God. God will only give power to whom he chooses, no matter the effort you made. Yes, God will give you power through somebody. But if God didn't want it to happen, it will not happen. That is why you don't mock God by taking glory that is meant to God, ascribing it to yourself. So let the president intervene now and call those concerned to order. This thing can derail this democracy, and we are not ready to go to the trenches again.
Well, Marvin, there are great people of River State, elder statesmen who are there, those who have been governors before, those who have, risen to the highest echelon in public service are there. How are they, trying to control the situation so that it does not snowball and degenerates to what Dan has just, submitted?
Well, for me, I know that the elders of the state, those who genuinely want the progress of River State, people like the former governor of the River State, Peter Odili, even Alfred Yetispi, who was a military governor of River State, people like the Chief Ada George, Rufus Ada George, and just name them. The former deputy governor, G.T. Toby, even Rotimi Amechi, who's the past governor of the state. These are men who have tried their best to talk to the so-called Godfather so that he can just let governance take place in the state. And the governor has been struggling to ensure that governance takes place in the state. We've had people coming to invest in River State. No wonder less than 1 year in office, the governor was able to shoot up our internal generated revenue up, added above 10 billion to it. So you see, because they want to distract the governor, they don't want the governor to work, and these are the things they do. Don't forget, it's the same elder statesmen that went to court. The elders of the state went to court and asking the court the interpretation of this section of the law. That why would somebody who has defected still remain parading themselves as lawmakers? The elders of the court went to court because they want a peaceful solution to the problem. They didn't instigate the youths to come up to the streets and all that. Yet, what we get every day in the state, trump up charges. Anybody supporting the governor, they will come up with one charge. He's a terrorist, he's this, he's that, he's a murderer, and they'll be chasing people up and down. Some persons are languishing right now as we speak in Kuje prison for nothing, for standing up to power, for saying truth to power, for just coming out to protest, peaceful protest. They are now giving different libels here and there to call them different names, and they are awaiting trial, suffering. That is all they want in the state. They just declared the chief of staff the other day as a terrorist. The court spoke and said, no, this man is not a terrorist, we made a mistake and all that. He was no longer declared wanted. So you see, these are the issues. And you see the organic support of the governor. Anywhere we go for Thanksgiving, for the president's Supreme Court victory and the governor's victory in each local government, you see people coming out. Today we were in Ahuda. Look at the organic support that the governor has. And these are some people said that they took their structure. Who are the structure? The people are the structure. We are in a democracy, for Christ's sake. It's a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. It is not a government for one individual.
Yes, yes,
So
indeed. Yes,
we should
indeed.
just
Marvin Yobana. Let me just quickly take this last question for Dan. Dan, with, the kind of brigandage, verbal warfare we are getting from River State between the two combatants, the minister of the FCT, Wike, and the governor, Fubara. Should Godfatherism continue to be allowed to fester in the face of the present political brigandage in River State?
You see, we were in Rivers 2-3 weeks ago to conduct IPAC election. We saw people, we interviewed people. Everywhere was calm. They are in tune with the government of the day. But the problem, according to them, comes up when the Abuja group enters the town. When they leave on Sunday, Monday, there will be peace. What is Godfatherism? Godfatherism is somebody assisting another by different methods to gain power. But it becomes Godfatherism when certain terms are attached to that assistance. Even when the man that assisted may not have done it with money from his pocket. I know Nigerian politicians, very few politicians can dip money in their pockets, spend millions, billions to get somebody elected as governor. There is no two Tinubus today in Nigeria. Even when he was not in office, he was still keeping his structure. 8 years after, he was keeping his structure. 8 years going, he was keeping his structure. But I don't know anybody that can come back after leaving office. He thinks he will. You did not do what Governor Tinubu did as he then was, as governor. You build people. Even when you are not there, they remember you, put them where they are. But when everything is done by deceit or by methods that are not akin to democracy, this is what you get. Godfatherism is not desirable, it's not a bad idea too. You can help somebody get into office. And I have always told politicians, it is better you give a good man power. He will not forget. When Jesus Christ healed the 10 lepers, all of them ran away. When they got healed on their way, 9 ran away. 1 remembered that Jesus told them to go. He ran back to Jesus and said, before Jesus said, look, where are you? Were 10 that were healed. Where are the other 9? He said, go. Your faith has made you whole. What am I saying in effect? There is joy in gratitude. And gratitude is not carrying the state funds of this party to give you. When you are invited to functions, to make speeches and all that, it's part of the gratitude you are recognized. We have had past governors, and they should know that it doesn't work. And I've told my colleagues, political oath doesn't kill anybody.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much. Dan Nwanyanwu is the national chairman of Zenith Labour Party, and Marvin Yobana is the leader Simplified Movement in Ogoniland. Gentlemen, thanks very much for coming on Newsnight.